passive aggressive type of behavior. We ignore it.
So let's go into these a little bit, these
Okay.
behaviors. There's toxic positivity, there's stonewalling, which is the silent treatment, verbal abuse that somebody's constantly putting you down. And then there is gaslighting that, oh, that didn't really happen. This is how it happened. And people just wash over your lived reality, your lived truth. It's not so much that these things happen because in the course of our day-to-day lives, we do some of these things, but it's when something is usually off, something's not working or wrong, it's usually very frequent. So it's not once a month. Most of us work and we have lives that we spend away from our family members. And when we come together in that 4 or 5 hours, how frequently is it happening?
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. And how much are we thinking about it? So that's another
Mhm.
symptom. Am I constantly thinking, I feel so bad, or
Yes.
I can't believe that person did that to me? And we're having negative thoughts about people. That's
Yeah.
SOB, you know.
Or negative thoughts about yourself. Like, am I not good enough? Am I not worthy enough? I'm not, maybe something's wrong with me. Why am I feeling like this? Maybe I need to go change, or maybe I need to do even better.
Yes. And I think that making that decision to become honest about our problems and stop sweeping them under the rug, that they will get better, that things will change without me doing anything. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that is really how we make problems grow.
And I certainly did so much of that. I expected different results every time, or I thought maybe I need to do better to get different results. But that is not the case because I was still doing the same type of things over and over, just a little bit differently. So same type of action from my side, but a different way of doing it and expecting different results. And of course, it didn't happen.
Yeah. And also, change doesn't happen from one side. One person can't go all the way to meet someone else's needs. It's like you are depleting yourself in the process. That in our culture, as we know, that women get married younger than men. So they're at a very impressionable age, so that
Mhm.
the husbands can mold the woman to be the perfect wife for them. It's an uneven attention to the needs of two people. It's about the needs of one person. I know someone who said to me, there's God and then there's my husband.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the God syndrome, and that's another narcissistic behavior that we're enabling. So
Yeah.
our culture enables a lot of narcissistic and toxic behaviors because of the role that's given to men.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, this is harmful for both people. This is not just about me saying, oh, men are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I really want to make this point that this is not a healthy behavior for the person doing it because they don't know better. And this is not unhealthy behavior as the recipient of that behavior, but also the person that constantly enables and makes matters worse over time. So that does happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree completely. And I think enabling that narcissistic behavior for that one role and the other role, enabling that behavior as a result of the narcissism. So you have to, put yourself down and have a low self-image, low self-worth and things to compensate for that narcissistic behavior. And I think if there's somebody who can take advantage of this behavior that the culture enables, right? People can take advantage of that. So use it against the other person. And that happens all the time.
But here's the other thing, it's unconscious. We don't even know that we're doing it because it's so deeply ingrained in us because of what we've seen. A lot of our thinking and behaviors are not conscious, it's unconscious. So these are things that we don't even know we're doing it until we put on that hat and say, where am I the part of the problem? I think it, like you're saying, self-reflection and introspection. And this is something that I did. What I did was, where am I doing this?
Mm,
So in order for me to change something on the outside, I have to see where it exists on the inside.
that's the key. That's where it starts.
So where am I the narcissist? Where am I the racist? Where am I the gaslighter? Where am I the toxic positivity person, because I
Mhm.
was the most positive person on the planet. And I would always constantly reframe, oh, look at the bright side, or things can be so much worse.
Me too.
So when we say these things, we diminish the human experience of feeling sad, of feeling hurt, and we flip the switch from a negative to a positive without actually being human and experiencing those emotions. And in the self-reflection part, what we can do is we can actually go into this made me sad, but when you're doing it deliberately and consciously, you don't have to stay there a long time. You can
Yeah.
feel it for a moment. Emotions actually last at a time 90 seconds.
Hmm.
And so we have a lot of tools and skills that we can actually, I'm sure we're going to go into this a little bit more in depth later, but just wanted to bring that to the table because sometimes we
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So starting with the decision to be honest with yourself, having these conversations, why am I feeling like this? What exactly is this feeling? What is it bothering me? And why am I feeling like this? What are these thoughts? That's what you're saying. When you do it intentionally, know of these thoughts. And that's crazy. That really doesn't take that long to do that with yourself. It's just a few minutes and a few seconds of that feeling that will come and go. But the ignoring, stop being ignorant. I feel like that's a big thing in our culture too. We just being ignorant is not knowing, that you have a choice or that the choice is there to not feel like that.
Mhm. It's
But
hard though, because
yeah,
we don't always have the support structure, and to do things alone and it's one against the world in my little world, it's hard. And ignorance is bliss, because when you don't know something, you can get away with
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Uh, but when you don't call it out as well, you allow it to get
you
away.
allow it. Yeah,
And one question I want to ask you, if you want to answer, and to everyone
sure.
listening,
Hmm.
is what's your limit? How much more can you take?
Yeah,
What are the implications or what are the consequences of this behavior, of this situation, if it continues for another month, another year, another decade? What are the consequences?
yeah. I mean, I think that that threshold for patience and that threshold for how much can you take. First, I used to think that, it varies from person to person. Everyone has like a personal type of a stamina where they just can take so much and some people just can't take so much. But I think that the more you have the feelings of obligations, the more you have the feeling of sacrifice, the more you feel shame, embarrassment, guilty, all of that, and you will compensate for that, and the threshold will just get higher and higher and higher. I guess that's what we can call it, or ignoring the problem, not looking inwards and just dealing with it. It's all of those things, and the more you feel those things, the higher your threshold is.
For sure, because we want to be loved and we want to be validated and we want to be accepted. So we
Yeah.
start saying things and becoming people pleasers.